If I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I'm pretty worried for Chelsea and Enzo Maresca's future in the current moment. And that could of course turn around depending how the transfer window ends, depending on what signings we are getting in to strengthen Enzo Maresca's side and help him as much as he can to be a successful head coach at Chelsea. But of course it's also going to depend how the season goes, if we are delivering and meeting the targets or if we're not. But in the current moment I am very worried, and I feel like Chelsea's plan is a complete disaster, as it have been so far when it comes to most decisions they ever took in the Chelsea project. So I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions around that Conor Gallagher leaves, the Chelsea's plan for the future in the current moment, and we're also going to go through some other players we've been linked with. Feel free to leave your thoughts and your opinions in the comments down below. And before we continue any further, as usually, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my page and hit that notification bell down below. Fabrizio Romano, Nisar Cancella, Ben Jacobs is coming all with the confirmations that Chelsea and Atletico has agreed on a £33 million transfer fee for Conor Gallagher. And apparently Gallagher only had the weekend to decide if he's going to join the Madrid side or not. Then apparently he has said yes now to a move. It makes me both sad and happy at the same time. It makes me sad because I feel like he has done everything he can in his power to cement his future here. But that wasn't enough, because it's our owners that are in the driving seat and they deciding to sell another academy graduate for pure profit. For me, this decision is only about the financial aspect of the sport. It has nothing in terms of football decision to do. I firmly believe that. I am really for that a manager also has a say. If he wants to have a player for his system and really wants to keep a guy, he should be able to do that. But I really believe Enzo had no say in this whatsoever, and that was the same case in other transfer situations when it came to Pochettino, Potter and Thomas Tuchel. Now, I think it's positive because Gallagher is gonna go to a club and a manager that is desperately to get him. And as a player, you would like to feel at home. You want to feel that the club really wants you. And I think, as many others saying, that Gallagher is going to suit Diego Simeone's style of play really well. Now, it's going to be tricky, of course. He's going to have to learn a new language. English players that is traveling abroad can struggle with it. But Gallagher has massive determination, confidence, believing in himself. And I'm sure he's going to settle down well in Spain. And I wish him all the best, and I thank him so much for everything. Things that I really admire about Gallagher is that despite so many fans mocking him, being against him, he still never gave up. He continued to get better and better and better. And that shows you what a strong mentality and determination Conor Gallagher has. And for me, it's very important that you have players in the club that really wants to play for you, that really wants to do everything they can for the badge. And Conor Gallagher really bled blue. He wanted to stay here. Now, he was offered a contract extension. And it was so funny that literally every journalist came out with the same news, with the same briefs at the same time. So it tells you, I think it really tells you, if you're looking between the sentences, they were literally paid by the owners to put out this PR and trying to make Gallagher looking like the bad guy here, which I think is really depressing. And we have seen this in similar transfer situation in the previous transfer windows. We're going to see it in the future as well. But I have all the respect for Gallagher. I think it's really strong on him to continue doing everything he could. He had a massive season. Some people is gonna say he's only running around, but that's because they hate Gallagher. But if they're looking at the stat, if they're looking at his improvements, you can see he was our best midfielder last season. And if it wasn't for him, we would have leaked even more goals in the back of the net last season. So one thing I want to also talk about is that last summer I was critical of Gallagher, but when I criticize a player, I'm not going to attack them on a personal level. I'm not going to insult them. I'm going to critique them because I think there are things they need to improve upon. And I really said that if Gallagher is going to be a Chelsea player, he has to get better in his general game, both defensively, offensively, his passing decision, first touch, all this kind of stuff needs to improve. And for me, it definitely did. Now, did he become Iniesta? No, he definitely didn't. I still think he has things to improve when it comes to his final third decision, ball control and technique, but it definitely improved. And for me, he did everything he could, in my book, to stay here at Chelsea. He deserved it, and he was available for 99.99% of every game last season. Always shows good attitude. He even got to wear the armband when Reece James and Chilwell was out, and that's all around Conor Gallagher. Not solely against selling academy graduates, but I really want the manager to have at least a minimal collaboration with the sporting directors, but I would prefer a manager having the final say in terms of selling players and buying players, much like every other top team has. But the gaffers that has been here, and Enzo now, that is our new gaffer, they don't have the power in the market, and how are they supposed to then get the best out of their system if they can't keep or choose which player to purchase? So that's why I'm also really worried about Chelsea's plans and in terms of this project, because the manager is just going to need certain type of players. Now, if Gallagher wouldn't have fitted it and it came from the manager, I would have definitely accepted it, and that goes the same case for other players. Now it's going to be interesting to see what the future holds for Reece James, Malagusto, Chilwell. Can they necessarily fit into this system where they have to invert? Where is to make a back three or join and create a pivot in the midfield? And if they can't do that, what are we gonna do then with them? And that's why I'm stressing it's so important that managers get players they need. Now, they can't get every single one, and they can't get maybe 10-15 signings from the get-go, but give him minimum 3 signings to begin with that actually suits him. And the only 2 we are giving him so far is KH and Jorgensen. He's going to need more, and the last position we're definitely going to strengthen him is the striker position. So let's get further into some more transfer stories. Chelsea are back in targeting Atletico's young Spanish forward in Samu Omorodion. He would be an expensive one, could be between 55 to 70 million pounds. Maybe the asking price could be reduced depending if the player wants to join, and that Atleti now has got Gallagher, but it could be because of another reason, and apparently it looks like Atleti is interested in Manchester City's Julian Alvarez, and he will also suit Atleti really well. If we purchasing Samu Omorodion for 55 million, that means Atleti could replace him with Julian Alvarez, better upgrade than Samu Omorodion for them. I'm not against purchasing guys, but we have bought so many of them, and in my point of view, I definitely feel like you need to have a mix in terms of young, experienced and elite players. Just like Real Madrid, Barcelona, I mean even like Inter Milan has, even if you're looking at Liverpool, Manchester City. I would prefer getting in a Osimhen, if you're gonna be honest. He has shown he is a proper goal scorer, has massive experience on international level, in Champions League, in the French and Italian league, and he managed to secure a massive feat when Spalletti was there by being the third highest goal scorer in the Serie A history. And I would really like him to be at Chelsea, of course, as you know. For this summer, before we were starting to have hearing rumors around summer, I had never heard of this guy before. Does that mean he's a poor player and not going to achieve his potential and deliver here? Probably not. Going to not judge Samu Omorodion completely. He could definitely deliver for us and reach his potential. But I think it's a very risky move, and I don't think it's necessarily going to make us compete for silverware. And is this a forward that Enzo Maresca has been asking for? I don't really think that. And that's why I'm stressing yet again why it's so key for a coach to also have an opinion on what type of players he wants at the club. I definitely think we need a new striker, but is Samu Omorodion going to be the answer? He could be, but I think it's a very risky move. We already got Nicholas Jackson. We purchased La Masia product in Mark U. What's going to happen with them? Wouldn't it then be better to get a Osimhen who actually wants to be at Chelsea, that is a more proven goal scorer than Samu Omorodion, has more experience? Sure, he would cost more, but if you're looking at top teams around the world, they all have an elite striker that producing numbers up front. I don't think the Osimhen deal will happen, but you never know. I think Samu Omorodion is the one we're gonna go for. So let me know, of course, your thoughts. Would you be happy with this signing, or do you think it's a risk? Of course, we're being linked with 2 more youngsters because that's all we're doing with the money. We selling players for good fees. Gallagher, we're getting in decent money for it, and some other guys we have sold. But what are we then doing with the money? Are we purchasing players that are taking us to the next level? No, we're simply going to purchase youngster and purchasing the potential yet again. And now we're looking at Celtics O'Reilly, who is a midfielder and offensive player from Brazil, who is only 16 years old, I think, in Gabriel Mech. Now, O'Reilly seems to be a very promising young, as many others we have purchased. If you're looking at his FBref numbers, he even ranks in the 99th percentile in some stats, and he doesn't look to be too expensive. I think it was around 30-40 million. But who is he going to replace? Is it Connor? Are we going to get rid of more midfielders? What's going to happen with Hugo Chukwu? What's the future for Santos? Is he a guy that's going to play in the half spaces or in the pivot? Is this a player that Enzo also wants? Or is it that the board and sporting director is only making the decisions here? That really seems to be a guy that is very technical, has a close ball control, intelligent, has fantastic awareness, positioning, and I think he could suit in the system, in the way Enzo wants to play. But how many midfielders are we necessarily going to have? And we're buying another 16-year-old from Brazil. How many of these guys are we going to purchase? Or is it that we just purchasing a lot of youngsters, and then we just see what the outcomes will be, which players is going to deliver, and the rest of the guys that are not going to deliver, we're just gonna sell them later on. I think we're already producing massive talents in Cobham for free, and that's why it baffles me so much that we're overpaying for so many young guys under 20 years old that we barely never heard of before. And I feel like Enzo Maresca could be set up for failure here if he's not getting players that he needs. Because I feel like they're not helping him as much as they could. I think the owners have a disaster plan that will eventually fail. Like it has done in these 2 seasons now that they have been charged of. And if they're not helping Enzo Maresca and backing him, he's going to have it really tough. And depending on how the transfer window ends, depending on how the season goes, I think Chelsea's fate is going to be revealed sooner rather than later, if it hasn't already. So I like to be very honest, give you my opinions, exactly what I think. I could be right, I could be wrong. We all get it right and wrong times. So this is all for the video. Let me of course know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I happily read it. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'm out, guys. Peace.